Okay, so we've got some really interesting stuff to dig into today.
Yeah, looks like someone sent in some English learning materials.
Exactly. It's for B1 level learners.
Nice.
Which I think is really cool because it lets us get into like the everyday English.
The stuff you actually use, yeah.
Yeah, like how do you actually order a coffee,
Right, or how do you talk about your weekend?
Exactly. And how do you understand when you're like listening to someone?
So we've got dialogues, we've got some grammar explanations.
Even a short story.
Nice, a little bit of everything.
It's a good mix. So the goal here isn't to just sort of like read through it.
No.
But to really try to understand what are the key things that someone at this level needs to know to like really feel confident using their English.
Yeah, I mean, B1, that's like you're starting to get comfortable, but you still need those like core building blocks.
Exactly. So we're going to kind of look at the dialogues, see how they work, see what kind of grammar and vocab they're using.
Yeah, and pull out those little nuggets that are going to help people actually use this stuff in real life.
Okay, so should we just jump right in?
Let's do it. I'm curious to see what we've got.
All right, so first up, it looks like we've got a classic coffee shop scenario.
Yes, the daily caffeine ritual.
Exactly. And so we have our customer A and our barista B.
Okay.
And A says, I'd like a medium cappuccino, please.
Okay, so that right there is interesting.
Yeah.
Because you could just say, I want a cappuccino.
Right.
But I'd like is a little softer, a little more polite.
Yeah, it just sounds nicer, right?
Exactly. You're acknowledging the other person.
Yeah.
It's like you're considering their effort.
Yeah, there's like a subtle social dance happening.
Definitely. It's like, please and thank you.
Exactly.
Those little things make a big difference.
So then the barista says, would you like anything to eat with that?
Okay, so that's a classic upsell.
Right. Trying to get you to buy more.
But it's phrased in a very polite way.
Yeah, it's not pushy. It's just like a suggestion.
Yeah, and the customer says, maybe a muffin. Do you have blueberry?
So, again, very simple language.
Yeah, but effective.
You're getting your point across.
And you're using those key words.
Cappuccino muffin.
Exactly. Those are like your coffee shop essentials.
Yeah, and then we get to the total. That'll be $5.75.
Okay, so that'll be...
Right.
That's another interesting one.
It's a contraction of that will be...
Exactly, and it just makes your English sound more natural.
Or fluent, yeah.
How people actually talk.
And the source actually suggests that you imagine ordering your own favorite drink.
Oh, I like
both. Practice it in your head.
Yeah, because it helps you get comfortable with the phrases.
And more automatic.
Exactly. You're not thinking about the grammar. You're just ordering your latte.
All right, so from that one little coffee shop exchange.
We've got politeness, we've got ordering, we've got contractions.
A lot packed in there.
Yeah, these everyday situations are full of little language lessons.
Okay, so next up we've got another very common situation.
Okay, hit me with it.
Talk about your weekend.
The universal conversation starter.
Right, so it starts with, so how was your weekend?
Classic.
And B says, it was pretty good. I went hiking with my friends.
Short and sweet.
Straight to the point.
And very typical.
Yeah. And then A asks, nice. Where did you go?
Okay, so now they're showing interest.
Right. They're keeping the conversation going.
Which is important in these small talk situations.
And B says, we went to Green Valley. The weather was perfect.
Again, simple but effective.
You're giving the key information.
And I like the little phrases that A is using.
Like, that sounds great.
Yeah, and did you take any pictures?
Those are like little conversational cues.
They keep things flowing.
They show you're engaged.
And they encourage the other person to share more.
And grammatically, this dialogue is focusing on the past simple.
Ah, yes. The workhorse of past events.
Right. So we've got went and took was.
Those are your bread and butter verbs for talking about the past.
You're creating a timeline of what happened.
Yeah, I did it.
It's all about completed actions.
And the source makes a good point about connecting this to real life.
Like everyone has weekends.
Yeah.
Everyone has stories to tell.
Exactly. So it's a very relevant grammar point.
And they have a little mini task where you tell a short story about your own weekend.
Well, that's a good idea.
Using sentence starters.
So you're getting that practice.
Putting those past simple verbs into action.
Very practical. Very useful.
All right. So we've seen ordering. We've seen small talk.
We've seen politeness. We've seen the past simple.
Now let's get into some more specific scenarios.
Okay, yeah, let's up the ante a bit.
So this next dialogue takes us to the doctor's office.
Someone's not feeling well.
Right, and this is where clear communication is so important.
Absolutely. You need to be able to explain what's wrong.
So patient B says, I've had a sore throat for the past 3 days.
Okay. So right away, we have some key vocab.
Sore throat, fever, tired.
Those are your basic health descriptors.
Essential for talking to a doctor.
And the doctor A asks, do you have a fever?
It's a very direct, very clear.
Getting to the point.
And B says, yes, I think so. I've also been feeling very tired.
So giving more information.
Building the picture.
And then the classic, say,
Can't go to the doctor without that.
That's universal.
And the doctor says it looks like a mild infection.
Okay, so another key medical term.
And then I'll give you some medicine.
So we have the problem, the symptoms, the exam, the diagnosis, and the treatment.
All in a very short exchange.
That's a lot of ground covered.
But what I think is really interesting here is the grammar.
Okay, tell me more.
They highlight the phrase, I've had.
Right.
Which is the present perfect.
Ah, yes, the tense that connects past to present.
Exactly. So you're saying that something started in the past.
And it's still continuing.
Like I've had a sore throat for 3 days.
As opposed to I had a sore throat yesterday, which is finished.
Right. It's a subtle difference, but important.
It shows how long you've been experiencing something.
And they give some more examples like, I had a headache since yesterday.
Okay, yeah, that's another common one.
And I've been feeling cold all day.
So you can adapt those to your own situation.
Yeah, if you've had a cough for a week, you can use that same structure.
Really useful for talking about health.
And then they have a role play activity.
Oh, I like those.
Where you practice being a patient.
That's such a good idea.
You have to describe your ailment.
Because that can be a stressful situation.
You might not know the words. You might feel nervous.
So practicing beforehand can really help.
Makes you feel more confident.
Exactly. You're prepared.
Okay, so we've done coffee, we've done weekends, we've done the doctor.
We're on a roll.
Now let's shift gears to our listening activity.
Okay, bring on the story.
It's called The Lost Umbrella.
Sounds intriguing.
So it's about this woman, Maria.
Okay.
She's walking home in the rain in London.
Classic London.
And she realizes she's forgotten her umbrella.
Oh, no. I've been there.
We've all been there, right?
The panic of the sudden downpour.
Exactly. So he ducks into a cafe.
To wait out the storm.
And then she sees an umbrella. That looks familiar.
A mystery unfolds.
And the story ends with, but was it?
Oh, a cliffhanger.
Leaving us in suspense.
I like it.
But the main point of this activity is to practice listening comprehension.
Yeah, to see if you can follow the story.
Understand the spoken English?
So they have some comprehension questions.
Right, to check if you were paying attention.
So first up, where was Maria walking?
The answer's London, of course.
Easy peasy.
Then, what was the weather like?
Rainy, obviously.
What did she forget?
Her umbrella, the source of all the drama.
What did she do when it started raining?
She took shelter in a cafe.
Smart move.
And lastly, what does she see in the cafe?
The familiar-looking umbrella.
The potential plot twist.
So these questions make sure you've understood the main points.
Right, and some of the details, too.
Because that's how we build comprehension.
It's not just about getting the gist.
It's about being able to follow the nuances.
Exactly. And listening activities like this really help with that.
They get you used to the rhythm of spoken English.
Yeah, the way words flow together.
It's all part of becoming a more confident listener.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
We've gone from coffee to umbrellas.
From the past simple to the present perfect.
So as we kind of wrap up this deep dive, what would you say are the key takeaways for our listeners?
Well, I think the big thing is the focus on real-world situations.
Yeah, like these are things that people actually encounter.
Exactly. Ordering a coffee, talking about your weekend.
Going to the doctor.
These aren't just random grammar exercises.
Right. They're like slices of real life.
And we've seen how politeness plays a big role.
Yeah, those little phrases like, I'd like.
Or would you like?
They make you sound more natural, more considerate.
And we've looked at key grammar points.
The past simple, the present perfect,
Essential for talking about experiences and events.
And we've touched on important vocabulary.
For everyday life and for health.
And, of course, the listening practice with the short story.
That's so crucial for developing comprehension.
So it's really about taking these seemingly simple interactions.
Yeah.
And breaking them down.
Seeing how the language works.
Understanding the grammar and the vocab.
And then practicing putting it all together.
So for our listeners out there,
think
about how often you actually encounter these situations.
Yeah.
Ordering a coffee, chatting about your weekend.
Describing how you're feeling.
These happen all the time, right?
They're part of daily life.
So which ones do you feel comfortable with?
Yeah, which ones make you nervous?
And what can you do to feel more confident?
Like maybe practice ordering your coffee in English next time.
Or think about how you would describe your weekend.
Even just those little things can make a big difference.
It's all about building those skills step by step.
Exactly. You don't have to do everything at once.
This is just a starting point.
A foundation to build on.
And remember, even native speakers use this language all the time.
Yeah, it's the core of communication.
So mastering it at this level
is a huge accomplishment.
It opens so many doors.
It lets you really engage with the world.
And it gives you the confidence to keep learning and growing.
Exactly. This is just the beginning.
Well said. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
My pleasure.
We hope you found it insightful.
Yeah, and encouraging.
Keep practicing, keep learning.
And keep exploring the world of English.
We'll see you next time.
Bye for now.
Bye.